Hello, I thought I'd just do a quick video just to introduce myself and also talk a little bit about my business Natural Answer and the farm where I'm lucky enough to live called Brook Farm. So I'm Jane Gilby. I'm a flower essence animal and people practitioner. I've done quite a lot of work over the years with horses and dogs, been primarily. My background career, I've been several things really. I was a nanny, so I've worked with children for a while in my early 20s. But the longest job I've had, and the significant part of my career, was working for a veterinary practice. During which time, it was a small animal practice, although when I first started there, we did see large animals, so we did go out quite a lot to see horses. I've always been a horse lover, and I've had my own horses for many, many years. Arabs have been my passion, Arab horses, which can be quite a sort of sensitive breed. So, they've been a lovely, a wonderful learning journey for me, really, from my late teens right the way through till now. I still have 2 Arab horses now. So while I was at the veterinary practice, my boss at the time, Mr. Alistair England, was quite an open chap. Bearing in mind this was probably a good 20 odd years ago when I first started there. He was quite open to holistic therapies and was quite keen for us to offer these different services like that on a holistic nature within the practice. So I was very lucky to actually be able to go and do some training and qualified as a batch flower practitioner. I then went on and qualified as an animal practitioner because when I first started, that course didn't actually exist. And so over the years, I've gone on to sort of study lots of different animal-based modalities. Mainly my horses have led me down that route. They had physical issues or behaviour issues, emotional issues that kind of gave me the nudge. And also I think with my own health, I've always been into holistic therapies myself, so for several decades hardly ever went to a doctor at all, and just embarked on a journey of kind of self-discovery, self-empowerment, just about attending every possible flower essence course I could find, which was a lovely part of my life. It really did kind of accelerate the personal growth side of things and help you learn about yourself, and this is a wonderful thing that essences can actually do. Alongside the essences, which I'd say really is my main modality, I've also studied and qualified as an equine touch practitioner. I now have diplomas in canine behaviour and training, horse psychology. The horses, again, took me down lots of different routes regarding horse training. So whilst I never really wanted to specialise in any one area, I've dipped in and out of lots of different sort of training programs and methods, from kind of the early beginnings in the BHS, quite traditional. Then I went through quite a lot of different natural horsemanship methods. I've done some clicker training and positive reinforcement, which is obviously coming much more to the fore nowadays. So I've kind of got quite a broad range of experience, that I've had over the years with the animals. We've had dogs most of our life, mainly golden retrievers, so I'm quite familiar with the breed, and the different things that like to come up with those. Also done quite a few human modalities in the line of sort of Swedish massage, Indian head massage, foot massage, reflex points. What else? God, there's loads. I was quite a courseaholic for a long time. So whilst I don't necessarily practice too many of those, I tend to want to focus on my animal work, but I do love working with. You can't work just with animals alone, because most of the problems animals have tend to be tied up very much with the dynamics in their family, things that have happened to them in the past, and you've got to work with the owners, obviously, and the carers of the animals. And sometimes, without even realising it, we can affect our animals' well-being if we're going through a particularly stressful period, if we're holding on to like traumas that we've experienced in our lives. Even just things like moving home, having the builders in, things like that can be quite disruptive in the home. Different animals coming in and out of the home that can upset the dynamics. When you start then getting, for example, cats kind of start urinating where they never have before indoors, and and that's often because perhaps a new animal's come in and they're having to pass in a narrow walkway. So sort of, whenever I do a consultation for animals, I tend to work with really try to look at the whole picture. So we discuss a lot about what's going on in the household, as much as you know about the animal's past. I mean, obviously sometimes if it's rescue animals you might not know that much. Other times, we've had animals right from very young, and yet they still can come up with issues. So the essences can really, really help with emotional kind of things, and kind of as for people as well. I mean, animals teach us an awful lot. So, with essences we could work on things like limiting beliefs, traumas you've had, anything, confidence issues. So with the relationship, perhaps with horses, where there might be, you've ended up with a confidence issue over riding, or maybe just even handling a horse or being around them. Horses can be great mirrors, but I mean other animals do too. So that's another area we look at, just sort of the whole thing. So I'm based at Brook Farm, which is in the north of Essex, at a little village called Messing. It's a really beautiful farm. We've got 20 acres here. I've got my own horses, and we've got our dogs here, and some other animals, some pet sheep and cats and things, chickens. We also have a really gorgeous holiday let called the Herdsman, and that can be found on our other website, which is www.brookfarmholidays.com. My website for Natural Answer is www.naturalanswer.co.uk. You can also find me on Facebook. We have 2 Facebook pages, one for the farm, which is just Brook Farm, and the other one is Natural Answer, which is mainly where I, advertise my therapies. But here at Brook Farm, I also have a lovely classroom, and we have this lovely land and a beautiful setting. We've got the animals. So I have just this year started teaching a few workshops of my own. They're not all animal based, some are, but and some are more practical. Like I've started doing some puppy socialising classes, with a difference, with the fact that they come along and we get to introduce them on leads to other animals, so they can sort of, from behind the fence, but it's just exposing them to sort of in a safe environment, exposing them to new kind of experiences that they're likely to meet when they're older. And I combine that with like a talk about some different natural products and essences and all sorts of things like that. So it's just a nice relaxing couple of hours, and you can have a couple of refreshments, so the puppy gets to learn to sit quietly, which is again, if you want to be taking your puppy to pubs and things, or out with you wherever you want to go, you want a well socialised, well habituated puppy that can kind of deal with lots of situations. So we try to make it really fun. Same with the horses. Occasionally I'll invite other people to come along, practitioners and trainers, to teach a certain method or something, incorporate a workshop. Sometimes I'll do it collaboratively, where we try and bring in how essences could tie in with that particular thing. Likewise, I always also have some other guest speakers coming to teach things like crystal healing for animals, Reiki, lots of different things. I mean, I am a Reiki master myself, so that's another thing I do. But I just like to have different people come and teach things here, and just to sort of give a bit more variety. So that's something you could look out for. That's in my shop page on the website. I also sell lots of lovely wellness products, and some of my workshops are more about us humans, how we can look after our own well-being, because if we're balanced emotionally, mentally, spiritually, feeling physically okay, we've got vitality, we've not got lots of baggage and hang-ups everywhere with all sorts of problems, that's got to rub off on the pets in our lives and our children and families. So very much a lot of my workshops are focused around helping ourselves as well. And sometimes it combines how the animals can help us. So lots going on, lots to think about with Natural Answer and Brook Farm. And it is really very much a rural retreat, sort of a holistic retreat. So guests coming to stay in the holiday let might also like to consider, booking a massage or a flower essence consultation. So quite a lot really going on with Natural Answer. Hard to pin it down to just kind of one area, but it's quite broad with what I offer. So anyway, I hope you'll take a look and take a chance to have a little peruse through my website, and do get in touch and connect with me if there's anything I can help you with at all, or if you're interested in any of the workshops. Thank you very much for listening.